Hello, friends. I'm Miss Pam from the Hancock Veterans Memorial Branch of the Washington County Free Library, and I'm your guest reader for Stories by Starlight tonight. I have 3 stories for you tonight, and all are a little bit about spring. The first one is called It Looked Like Spilt Milk, and it's by Charles G. Shaw. And I'm reading it with permission of HarperCollins. Now, have you ever laid in the grass and looked up at the clouds and wondered what you thought they might look like? Well, this is what that story is about. So let's get reading. It Looked Like Spilt Milk by Charles G. Shaw. Sometimes it looked like spilt milk, but it wasn't spilt milk. Sometimes it looked like a rabbit, but it wasn't a rabbit. Sometimes it looked like a bird, but it wasn't a bird. Sometimes it looked like a tree, but it wasn't a tree. Sometimes it looked like an ice cream cone, but it wasn't an ice cream cone. Sometimes it looked like a flower, but it wasn't a flower. Sometimes it looked like a pig, oink oink, but it wasn't a pig. Sometimes it looked like a birthday cake, but it wasn't a birthday cake. Sometimes it looked like a sheep, but it wasn't a sheep. Sometimes it looked like a great horned owl, but it wasn't a great horned owl. Sometimes it looked like a mitten, but it wasn't a mitten. Sometimes it looked like a squirrel, but it wasn't a squirrel. Bye-bye, squirrel. Sometimes it looked like an angel, but it wasn't an angel. Sometimes it looked like spilt milk, but it wasn't spilt milk. It was just a cloud in the sky. The end. I really hope you liked that story. So now we're going to read or have another story about something that you will see a lot in the summertime. Have you ever looked in your bushes or a tree or maybe a plant on your porch and seen a little nest in there that maybe had some little eggs in it? Well, this story is about 2 little robins. There are 2 little robins. We got the mommy and the daddy robin. And this is how that goes. 2 little robins up in a tree built their nest for all to see. Along came the babies. 1, 2, 3. Beep, 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 beep. Aren't they cute? And now they're a happy family. Beep, 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 beep. Goodbye, little robins. Thanks for visiting us. We'll put those right there. And we have one more story. Now, this is kind of a fun story, and you may have met our main character in this. This is Pinkalicious. There are a lot of books about Pinkalicious, and so if you like this one, you can go and find another one at your library. And this one is called Pinkalicious Fairy House, and it's by Victoria Can, and I'm also reading this one with permission of HarperCollins. Pinkalicious Fairy House. Let's make this so it's a little easier to see. There we go. Fairy house. It was spring, my favorite season. I love how the sky looks like cotton candy at sunset. See? Every spring, our garden comes alive with blossoms of every color. I know why our garden is so beautiful. It's because of the fairies. Fairies come to our yard and sprinkle fairy dust to make the plants grow. I have never seen them, but I know that they are real. I can see sparkles outside my window. See all the sparkles on the flowers? This spring, I had a plan. I would see the fairies. Pinkalicious, what are you doing? Asked Peter as I collected twigs and leaves. I'm making a house for the fairies to live in. Then they can live in our garden and we will be able to see them, I said. I want to see them too. Let me help, said Peter. He brought out his shell collection. Let's build a house here in the garden, I said. Fairies are sure to come this way. Piece by piece, we built a little house. I wove buttercups around the door. Peter made a pathway with his shells. See all the shells he's using? Soon we had a cozy home for the fairies. I couldn't wait for them to come. Every day I watched the house from my swing. See what a beautiful fairy house she made? Let's make that a little closer so you can see it. I made a pond, a boat, and even a slide for the fairies to find. But the fairies did not come. When Peter saw how sad I looked, he said, "Cheer up, the pink flower buds are blooming." But I wanted to see the fairies. Suddenly, I had an idea. Maybe the fairies only come out at night, I said. Maybe they only sprinkle fairy dust by moonlight. I told Mommy and Daddy what I wanted to do. They let Peter and me camp out and keep watch for the fairies. There's Mommy and Daddy. Okay. That evening, Peter and I spread out our sleeping bags. I left the fairies a sweet snack of honeysuckle and berries. See right here, she left them a nice snack. Do you think they will come? Asked Peter. Yes, I said, and added in a whisper, I really, really hope so. We told each other stories until Peter fell asleep. As the night got darker, I heard crickets and owls, but not a single fairy. Once I thought I heard some soft, gentle humming. It was just Peter. He was snoring. I did everything I could to stay awake. I looked up at the moon. I counted the stars. I didn't want to miss the fairies. But as I counted the stars, my eyelids got heavy. I couldn't help it. I drifted off to sleep. The next thing I knew, I heard a bird singing. I opened my eyes. It was dawn. I heard hushed voices in the garden. Mommy and Daddy were looking at something together. How beautiful, they said. As I stretched, a sweet smell filled the air. All around me, colorful flowers were in full bloom. I looked at the fairy house. The honeysuckle and berries were gone. The fairies came, I cried. They came, but I missed the whole thing. Peter started to sniffle. Don't cry. Look, I said. Up in the air, I could see glimmers of light shooting across the early morning sky. See all the light all over? Fairies, I gasped. The light shimmered brighter and brighter until it sparkled in the sun into sunshine. I knew you were real, I said. My family and I watched the sun come up. Thank you, fairies, I whispered. Wherever they were, I knew they could hear me. The end. I hope you enjoyed our stories today, and I hope you get a chance to go out and enjoy the nice spring weather. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for coming. Bye.